Hello everyone, my name is Rachel and this video is to give you a brief overview of how to manage your youth ministry group through the new MyGFC on the Church Community Builder platform. So as a youth ministry leader, you're going to have two different ways that you can access the system. The first way is through the web browser, which I'm going to show you here in just a minute. And then the second way is through the Lead app that you'll download onto your phone. So I think that, primarily you'll be using the Lead app, but there are a few things that you can't do in the Lead app that you can do in when you log in through the browser. So we're going to focus on those today. Once you have logged into your system, the quickest way to get to your group is looking over here on the right-hand side of your screen. You're going to see My Groups, and your student ministry group should be listed down there. So go ahead and hop in. I'm going to click in and go to my pretend group here. So you're going to be brought in on the Information tab. And here you're going to see your leadership. So that will show your co-leaders. You'll be able to click on their profile and see their information, contact information possibly, depending on how they have their privacy settings. You'll also be able to see your group information down here. So let's go ahead and hop into the Messages tab. This is essentially a message board for your group. So you can use this if you feel like that's helpful for you. Your members of your group are also going to be able to send messages here. To do that, you're just going to click on New Message. You have a couple of options on who you're going to send your message to. You can do all participants, leaders, or just specific members of your group. If we choose all participants, that's going to send a message to everyone in your group who has an email listed in their profile. Next, you have some options here to determine how you want the reply to function to work. So if you're sending a message through the Lead app, I will distinguish. It's a little bit different. You don't have this option in the Lead app. If you send your message through the Lead app, all the people that have the email address in the system, they're going to receive an email. And then if they reply back to that email, it's going to reply all to everybody. The nice thing about sending it through the web browser is it gives you an option to essentially turn off the reply all function. So I can select only me. And then if they reply back, it just goes to me, or you can select no one. We're going to go ahead and choose all participants. And we'll just do a test message here. So now you can see that that's saving it here on our message board. So if people in your group log in to their accounts, they'll be able to see all of those messages and see past messages. You can also add comments, or if somebody replies back to your email, then it's going to show up as a comment here. If for some reason you need to edit this message, you can edit it by clicking on the message and click Edit Message. You also have the option here to delete the message. All right, so the next tab is the Calendar tab. This is the calendar for your group. You should see that the administrative staff has already added in your weekly ministry events on Sunday nights. We would ask that you don't change those events at all. Don't edit the settings for the weekly ministry. There are a few things that we need to make sure we have set properly in order to take attendance correctly. So if you don't mind just leaving those alone. But you do have the option to add additional events to your calendar. So maybe you're doing a little hangout with your group, or a service project or something. You can either create a new event up here in the top corner, or you can just hover over the day that you're going to have that event and click Add Event. The first question it's going to ask you here is whether or not you need rooms and resources. So for student ministry, chances are you're probably not going to need rooms and resources. What that means is if your event is going to be taking place in one of the church facilities. So most of your things are going to be off campus. So you're just going to click that rooms and resources not needed. Then we're going to put in the event name. So we'll pretend we're going to have a sleepover. You can add a photo if you want to. And then you're going to add your description. So this is what the girls are going to see if they look at this event. You can add all the details that you want there. Then you can see the group selected is already pre-populated for our group. And then you can assign an organizer. So if you leave this blank, it's going to default to the primary leader of your group. But I'm going to pretend like Carol is the one helping me out with this. Then you're going to want to add her phone number in there in case someone needs to get a hold of her. It's already got the date in there. Location is Carol's house. And you're going to want to add the address. And then you'll just hit save. So once we've saved it, it's going to bring you into the group event or the event page, looking at the guest list. Let's go ahead and hop back and look at the preview for the event. So here you can see I can RSVP for the event, and we can see our guest list. Currently, we don't have anyone invited. So let me show you how to do that. If you click on guest list, you can edit your invitation settings. You have a few options here. You can choose whether or not you want to show your guest list. So do you want your girls to be able to see who else is RSVP'd, or do you want to hide that from them? We would just uncheck that box. And then you have a choice as to whether or not you want to allow your guests to bring other people. So maybe we say, yeah, they can bring a friend if they want to. You can also put an attendance limit if you want to. Say maybe we only have room for 10. And then you're just going to hit change settings. Now that you've managed your invitation settings, you can go ahead and invite people. And I'm going to choose to invite people by group. So it's already pre-selected the group, the Student Ministry Girls group here. You have the option to either invite or add directly. If we select invite, then that's going to send an email invitation to all the girls in the group who have an email set in their profile. So just keep that in mind. If they don't have an email in the system, they're not going to receive the invite. It has pre-populated the invitation with the information that we entered when we created the event. So you can change that, tweak that a little bit if you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and say send now. But then let's say maybe I know that there are some people in our group that don't have an email address, but I've talked to them and they've told me they're coming. I can add them to the event by clicking on people by name. And then I'm going to say, okay, I talked to Gamora. She is definitely coming. And I'm going to add her directly. So now if I go back to the event overview, and we're looking at our guest list, we now see that one person has RSVP'd yes, Gamora is coming, and we have 2 people who have not responded. If I hop back to my preview, then I can say, you know what, I need to go ahead and RSVP. And I'm going to bring a friend with me. I say my friend, the wasp, is coming with me. Now you'll notice it shows that I'm attending, but I can't see the guest list here on the preview. Because I'm a leader, I can see it here. But this preview, that's what everyone else is going to see. And so they do not see the RSVP list because we chose to hide that. If we allowed them to see what guests are coming, then it's going to look like this, where they can see the guest list. They click on attending, they can see everyone that's attending. Actually, I'm sorry, they can't see Gamora because she's listed as a child. And we can see who's unconfirmed. All right, so you're going to ignore the attendance, the check-in, and the publishing tabs here because you're not going to need that for these types of events. You do have a couple of options here under event actions. You can edit your event, so maybe you're changing the day or the time. You can edit it there. You can delete the event if you're going to cancel that, or you can duplicate the event. So maybe a couple months from now, you're going to do another sleepover. You don't want to start from scratch. You can go and find that previous event and duplicate it. All right, let's hop back to our group. All right, the next tab here is files. You probably won't need that, but you do have the option to upload files and documents for your group. The next tab is needs. So I think this is something you all could use, especially for things like snack rotation. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. You just click on New Need here on the right. We're going to put in our title, so snack rotation. You can add a description if you want to. You can assign a different coordinator, so maybe somebody in your group has volunteered to coordinate snacks for you. And you probably don't need a location for a snack rotation, but if you were doing something like a service project and you needed people to bring supplies, you might put the location if it's somewhere other than the church. Down here under requested items, this is where you're going to fill in the things that you need. So we would say snacks week 1 and select the date. Snacks week 2. You can add more lines if you need to. So you'll just fill in all of the weeks that you need and hit save. So now that we have, we've created our snack schedule, then you're going to want to share this with your people. So you can inform people, and you can send an email to your group saying, hey, we need you guys to sign up for the snack rotation. Again, this will send only to those people who have an email address in the system. And maybe you have, maybe the email's not working for you. You're going to do it the old-fashioned way and just pass around a piece of paper. But then you want to update your rotation in here. You can assign and unassign items right here on the right. That populates this column here, and you can say, I'm going to assign this week. Wanda signed up. Maybe Carol. And okay, so the nice thing about this is that, well, there's a few things. One, they should receive reminders that they are on schedule to bring snacks. They should receive that as an email if they have their email in the system. It should also show up on their calendar, and I believe it should show up as on their family calendar as well. So if their parents are logged into the system and they look at their family calendar, the snacks should show up which week their kid is signed up for. The other thing is that you're going to be able to manage this in the Lead app. So Wanda, even though she's not the group leader, because she's you've assigned her as the needs coordinator, she would be able to download the Lead app on her phone and keep track of who signed up and send out reminders to them, or reach out to the parents. All right, so let's go back to the group. The last tab here is participants. And so because you're in student ministry, you're not expected to be managing your group roster. That's something that the administrative staff will be doing for you. But you will be able to see here all of your group members. If you don't see them listed there, what that probably means is that you don't have the child worker approved settings set properly in your profile. So part of our security system to protect our kids is, we have a process. Everyone gets background checked, and you have some policies you have to read and review. And so if your background check is out of date or you haven't completed that yet, then you will not be a child worker approved profile. So if you think you've done those things and you're still not able to see anyone, you probably just need to let the administrative staff know there's a setting in your profile that needs to be corrected. Again, you'll be able to see everyone's information if they, one, have it in the system, and two, if they have their privacy settings set so that you can view their phone number and email. One other thing I'll just note is that you can look at people's profiles then. You can click on them, and you can see their family. And depending on how the parents have their privacy settings, you may or may not be able to see their phone number and email address there. So if they don't have their privacy settings open, and you still need to get a hold of the parents, there is one way that you can contact parents, and that would be through a mail merge. So up here under Group Actions, if you select Send Mail Merge and create a new mail merge, I'll just do a test here. and then click on step 2 to choose recipients. This is going to bring up your group automatically. You can choose if you want to send it to members or leaders. And this is everybody in your group that has an email address. And then down here under recipient choice, you can choose if you want to send it to the members of your group, so the students, or you can add in their parents. So by selecting primary contact and spouse. And what that means, so when we migrated everybody over into the new system from the old database, we automatically set the husband, if there's a husband in the household, they are going to be set as the primary contact, and then the wife would be set as the spouse. So obviously if it's a single family household, you'll just have one primary contact. So if you want to make sure you're emailing mom and dad, you're going to want to check both of those boxes. And then you can choose if you want to unselect the students, so you just want to send it to the parents, you can do that, or you can choose all of them and send it to both. Then you just hit add recipients. Now you're going to see my my list here. So you can actually select which ones you want to send to. You don't have to send to everybody. You can also see who has an email address in the system. So Tony is Pepper Potts' husband. So maybe she's a co-leader in the group, and you don't want to send it. You didn't intend to send it to the co-leader. You would uncheck him. Then you can see Gamora's father is listed there. And once you've figured out exactly who you want to send it to, then you would just hit step 3, send. And then you're going to want to choose the email version here and turn that email on and hit send in the bottom left. All right, so let's hop back to our group. I have one last thing to show you. And that's the last way you can communicate with your people through the software, which is here under group actions, you can send a text. What this is basically the blend between a text message and a tweet. So it's unlikely, but if you happened to have a Twitter account for your group, you could connect that to your group, and then this would send out as a tweet as well as a text message to anybody in the system who, 1, has their phone number, 2, has their carrier listed, and 3, has updated their communication preferences in order to be able to receive text messages. So it is limited to 140 characters, and if you send this out, it's going to send to those people that have their number and their carrier, but they're not going to be able to reply back to you. So this would really just be for a quick broadcast text message. Maybe you're running a little bit late, something like that. You also have an option here to record attendance. I'm not going to dive into that just for sake of time, and I think you'll probably most likely be taking attendance through the Lead app on your phone. We do have instructions, though, attached along with this in case you want to take attendance through the web browser. So I hope this is helpful for you. As always, if you have any questions or you need help with something, you can email us at mygfc@graceky.org, and someone on the administrative staff will be happy to help you. Thanks so much.